Haha, I left the stream going all night and we have 200 people. How awesome is that? What's going on, people? Yesterday's raid was great. Which one was that? The Linux programming or the Linux programming was this morning? What was yesterday? The raid where I was streaming for an extra 10 hours? Well, that could have been great. I wouldn't know. I wasn't there. I wouldn't know. Well, what happened was I left last night's stream on all night again. So when I got up this morning, we were already streaming, so I did some work. It was just like 20 minutes. right. Yeah, C++ game programming. Oh, hey, Leland and crew. The snack is damn fine granola from Craftsman and Wolves. Yeah, it's a snack eating stream now. We don't program here anymore. Did everything get resolved? Yes. So the thing that I was doing on stream a couple days ago, where I ended up not liking what was happening, I reverted all that and did it a different way, or, you know, did it better, and everything is worked out. Everything is good right now. So tonight we're basically working on small things that have piled up, but that aren't scary. Okay. First thing on the list is something that may be fixed, but probably isn't. There's some conditions under which, if you're using operator overloading, you don't get a good error message when you mess up. So I want to figure out what those are. And then fix it. Let's go to foo. Yeah. So, all right. So we're going to take out all this stuff. We're going to import math. And that gives us some plus operations on some things. I'm going to say m is a matrix 4, m plus equals 7. What happens? Well, didn't match any of the possible overloads. That's fine. I don't think the amount of white space here is good. It makes it hard to read, especially when there's a lot of overloads. So I think I'm going to compact it a little bit. I don't even know where these get printed out. Let's go there. I think we'll end up here when we print the first thing. Let's find out. Build it. Build it, yo. How long have I been programming? Any kind of programming at any skill level, 37 years. $36.5 years, not that long. I'm not a big Metal Gear Solid fan, so I can't say much. What's up, Devin? What's up? What's up? Okay, so that's just saying possible overloads, colon. We don't care about that one. I want to know where these new lines are coming from. Why did we print that? Oh, yeah, because we do that. Okay, so we say possible overloads, colon. Okay. So we must be putting the padding here, because we're on the next line. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Ah! So that new line is in there intentionally. So we do that. And then we're printing out the error. Okay. So let's get rid of that. So now that's getting rid of some of our white space. Oh, debug. Debug compiler. Okay. That isn't the one I wanted to get rid of. It's still better, but now I want to get rid of this one. I'm confused. That's okay. Okay, so now we're there. We're there. Possible overloads, colon. Okay. Nope. Too much. There. We're there. Okay. Show error context. Did a new line. Short version. Okay. So we're taking new line off the short version. Okay. That's better, and then we'll put an extra new line at the end. Just so that if there's like frickin' 12 of these, you don't get spammed by it. And we could color code it. If we want. March 1 will be a demo release. Dude, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Are we manually loading all our GL extensions? Yes. Any strategies for managing the huge number of procedures you have to load? Well, it depends what you mean by manually, I guess. We have a big struct that just defines the procedures, and we use the programming language's metadata facilities to iterate over all of those and look up the pointer. So maybe, I guess if you mean manually, like do we have a bunch of statements that say get proc address for each one? No, we don't do that. No, no, no. Yeah, I kind of want to do some colors here. So what do we do? I mean, you can't be too picky about it because the colors come out differently on everyone's console. But you sort of want, you at the very least want the lines of code to be the brighter color, and then maybe these will be dimmer, and then maybe these can be different colors. Like this could be whatever color it is. This one could be like a more of a gray, etc. So now, how does our color situation even work? Okay, let's look at what the Lexer does already. Oh God, okay. So when we do show error context, so we show the line of code. And if we're doing the short version, we put this afterward. It's like a different style. Oh, no. First line suffix, that's what that is. Okay. These shouldn't be printfs. These should be puts. Anyway, I need to figure out a good way to do this. ANSI color codes. Colors. Bold, where's bold? Okay, there's no thin. So we have highlight is 9.1M. Is that because it's bold? Why are these different? These are like, oh, these must not be. Why are these different? This notation is different from. Okay. Bradley Fighting Vehicle System Maintainer. Okay, what if I quote? No, that's not, don't replace my string. Bradley Fighting Vehicle. Okay, that's not going to work. ANSI color codes are a pain in the ass. Why are these totally different numbers than these? They're maybe in the opposite order. Code 0 reset, 1 bold, 2 faint, not widely supported. And then these are the colors. Okay. So actually the order doesn't matter, I guess. The order doesn't matter. Okay. Let's try using faint. 2. I don't know. We're just going to try this. Going to see what it looks like. So oh, put S doesn't go comma standard out. I guess that's F put S. Shows you how often I use this. Okay, well, wait. Why are there all the new lines again? Oh, it really doesn't. It doesn't like my sequences. Let's just do that. Then what happens? All right. Let's make low lit be the same as high lit. See what happens. Why is it putting a new line? Wait, did that happen with... Oh, because frickin' put S puts a new line, doesn't it? Frickin' put S. How do you do put S without a new line? Do I have to actually use fprintf? What? Nope. Nope. Dude, the C standard library. Forget it. I'm just calling printf. This is bad style because for all printf knows, this is a format string. I was trying to be good. I was trying to be good. Okay. Okay, highlight isn't doing a damn thing. That's weird. God, it's so slow, dude. C++. Okay, well, I mean, it's definitely happening. So why does highlight print red there? fputS. Dude, if fputS behaves differently than putS, then I'm not going to use it out of sheer principle. Although I'm sure that's probably why I thought putS didn't do a new line. It's because I used to use fputS. Dude, I don't know. Dude, the amount of time longer that I ever have to think about these things is not very long. Okay. So, dude, this is I don't want to be messing around with this crap. I wanted to change some colors and be done with this. This should have been a 2-minute thing. And it's not for some reason that I don't understand. This isn't going to change anything, but I'm doing it anyway. Like, I know the colors work because I used them right there. Maybe I'm not remembering how I'm supposed to do it. Okay. So we're going to do that because we want this in blue. Code goes in blue. That's our thing. Maybe I turn it off under certain conditions. Let me just check my conditions. If C1 is equal to -1 and Z equals false, I bet that's what's happening. Okay. Right, because I'm using the C1. All right. This is... okay. So really, okay. Okay. So we're changing the conditions. We're not going to do this at all. And we're just not even going to check that. Well, okay. That's just a speed thing that we check that. All right, that's all we're trying to do so far. Thank you. Then we said low lit was 9.2. It's not quote reset. That isn't what we wanted. Ugh! Oh, wait, 9.2 was the color. No, it was 2. Like that. That is... oh, highlight must be red. 296. Dude, I wish I could just do the 24-bit color thing. It just didn't really work well enough. All right, so it ignores that. It ignores that. See, now we've got this weird thing where... controlling the color is for the error messages is going to be annoying. Maybe this is enough for now, because you kind of want the person from the outside designating the color. Because this thing just prints one... oh. Well, this thing just only prints this part anyway. I don't know, man. Really, this message should probably just go through a different function that's a shorter version than this one. Because this one is the one that prints a number of lines of code next to each other and highlights part of it in red. And for this short version, we just want to print the whole line and not highlight anything. And it's just different. So we can make a note. Short version only wants to print one line with no subline formatting, so maybe it should be its own routine. Okay. This is fine for now, though, because we get some visual separation between the code line and this. The colors are not very good, but frankly, we don't have control over them. even though we're running on a supercomputer in the year 2020, we can't control the console colors well enough to do anything. What about reading the color codes from environment variables or from a config file? Yeah, we could do that later. I don't care. That's not it. It's not important. It's not important right now. All right. Now what? I think this is more readable. You kind of want the colors switched around, actually, because you want the code to be bright, but whatever. Whatever, man. Like I said, we can't control it. We don't care. Okay. Let's print out our final new line. Okay. Good. Okay, improved overload error message formatting. However, that's from yesterday. We still got Photoshop going. So we still haven't reproduced this problem that I ran into. So operator plus equals. I'm going to make that there's only one definite scope custom operator, but the types don't match. Mismatching levels of indirection. Oh, we could do operator plus. Wanted string given S64. Well, oh, plus equals. Well, it might have been something weird with like local scope things that have been fixed. So I'm probably going to cross it off the list. Until we ever run into it again, if it ever happens. Because we've changed so many things, it may no longer be true. When we get a type mismatch from a constructor, we aren't told where the construction site is. Let's try that. Let's go. Foozle is a struct constructor make it. Make it is going to take a vector 3. So that is an error. Incompatible structs. Wanted vector 3 given Fusel. And checking argument 1 of call to make it. Okay, first of all, this location is maybe not good. This location should probably say the constructor instead. So let's fix that. And then we'll fix the other thing. Does ordering matter? Ordering of what? Probably no. Okay. Incompatible structs. Okay, the call's location is set to line 7. No, ordering doesn't matter, unless you mean the order in which you call them, in which case, yes, it matters a lot. I have to drink all these kind of gross sodas that I got. Why is this so slow now? Let's get rid of all these. Okay. So this call is getting created here. Site is the struct. We would like it to be the constructor. Let's make sure that's correct. Line 4. No. We want the so the constructor itself is not the right thing, because that's, we want the actual statement of where it happened, and that we may not even be recording. Dude, fuck this program. God, stop. Just because I typed a little bit into the editor, it has to freak out. Just stop. I never want edit and continue. Never. It's a piece of shit. How do I turn this off? Okay. So when we set the constructor is when we sort of encounter this statement. And so we want to save the location of this line so that we could say what it is in errors. That's type info. There, okay. Okay. So we just want to save this. And I'm just going to put new fields on the struct description. Okay. If it is the constructor, wait. Yeah. Okay. Now, way back wherever we were before this thing decided to disrupt everything I was doing. Oh, the maybe make forwarder. Des constructor declaration. Destructor declaration. Let's try that. Yay! Incompatible structs. This is kind of redundant. Checking argument 1 of call to make it. In this case, so we want to print this out, but we want to say what overload of make it this is, for example. So we don't want this to be When we report an error, see, we have this weird thing where we're trying to use generalized error reporting routines. And they only have, the general routines only have the concept of one place where something is happening. But here we kind of have two places. So we're going to have to just try to fill in as best we can. Whoops. So we're going to break here again. What? What? Why didn't that break there? Oh, because it's this one. It's this one. No? Incompatible specializations, incompatible structs. It's not this one. It's not. It's just broken, probably. Is there a control M in the file? I bet there is. Yep. God damn it, every single time. I think that has something to do with the edit and continue. All right. So it didn't understand the right position for the breakpoint, even though it looked like it was right, because there was a control M in the file. How did that get in there? Visual Studio just puts it there sometimes. Or maybe Emacs. I don't know. Okay. Check the types match, type check arguments helper. Okay, so what we could do is oh no, wait. So way up here, we could just say, we could just detect, is it a constructor? I don't know, there's not really a good place for this. It's not really a good place. we could have a flag on the procedure call. And we actually want to do it down here so that it happens whether there's an overload or not. Yeah. Okay. This is the place to put it. Line 2094, we'll put it there. And how do you fix a side-by-side configure error? I don't even know. That's Windows super garbage. Side-by-side assemblies shouldn't even be a thing. It's a piece of crazy overcomplication that Microsoft added to Windows, and your friend is paying for that. That's what happened. You never heard of side-by-side assemblies? Oh, you have some web searching to do if you haven't heard of that. Okay, so the question is, I think we flag this call as call is constructor. Yeah. Okay, so okay. Oh wait, we have lambda is constructor forwarder. We could use that. See, this isn't the right way to do it. We can't use this in all cases. We need to flag the call, so we're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to say if this, we're going to do some stuff, else say interp report info lambda procedure expression. Here is the location. Here's the constructor we are calling. We actually don't want to print this in all cases, but we'll fill it out. Okay, we actually want to do this like additionally to all this stuff. So now I'll call and call flags. Okay, so we just have to set this. Okay. Call flags is right before this. Wait, what? Oh, sort arguments. Type check arguments. Lambda, call flags. Okay. Great. Great. Well, it didn't print it. That sucks. Oh, we should have known because it's not actually coming from here. So we actually have to... That was like one place where we need to do it, but this is coming from another place. Okay. So again, call arrow S. Okay, we go there. Why do I assign null instead of null pointer? Because I've been assigning null since 1989. And why should I change that when there's no meaningful difference? The answer is because null pointer is not a macro and null is, and it's messy to have a macro be such a basic thing. But C and C++ are already messed up enough that that's just not on the level of things I care about. Okay, right, it's this spot. Oh, we actually need both of these so that we can print the right error message. Sigh. You can pass null into functions that do not take pointers. Not necessarily. Depends on how it's defined. Okay. If it's defined in the traditional way as void star 0, then no, you can't because it's a void star. Now, all you guys talking about null pointer probably don't even know your C++ history with these reasons you're giving me. Because after null and before null pointer, there was a different pointer literal that was recommended as good style in C++. And that was 0. They wanted you to put 0 instead of null. And that has all these problems you guys are talking about. So the other reason why I don't really use null pointer is I'm just sick of C++'s shit and wish they would make up their mind on some good ideas, actually. It's just been stupid for so long. So long. Any of you guys remember that when 0 was the recommended pointer literal? They recommended it that way because then you could write generic functions that set things to 0 and they work whether it's a pointer or an integer. Great idea, guys. Is there a better alternative to C++? Well, depends who you ask. Here's the constructor we are calling. Make it. Okay, so this gives us enough information. Why are we printing these, though? Okay. I think we're accidentally printing these even if there's not an error, which is not good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if I thought there wasn't a better alternative, I probably would be programming my most recent game in C++ instead of the language I am writing it in that is not C++. You have some old-ass books somewhere in your closets that still say it's a recommendation. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, this is good. This is probably a little bit verbose, sort of, but it's good enough that people can figure out what the problem is. Here is the procedure we are attempting to call as constructor. Okay, that's all great. Let's make sure we didn't break something. It's always possible. Is your language functional like functions are first-class citizens? Functions are first-class citizens in C++ and in C, so I don't know what people's problem is with that. They're just as first-class as they are in most functional languages. That is a weird point of rhetoric that functional language people have wrong. Have I tried Rust? No. No. Rust is not really, it's not really my jam. Oh man. Okay, well, make single pointer argument proc is crashing because remember when I said if the constructor is not null, the declaration has to be not null, but I guess I was wrong when I typed that. Good thing I tested. Good thing I tested. I almost checked in. That would have been dumb. Oh, let's take out our breakpoint. That's slowing us down. Okay. Yeah, so we are Dude, we've got another Control M in our file. Look at that. Thanks, guys, whoever saved that. It wasn't me. All right. So we are calling here, and this site is null because this thing that we added is null. Okay, but that's because the constructor's null. So what does make forwarder do? Oh, it has members. It has members. Okay. Okay. We gotta do something more sophisticated here. It's no big. It's easy. Line 6150. It's an album by Van Halen. Okay. Boom. Rust has been taken over by C++ maniacs. That's unfortunate. Oh, we made a debug build, not a release build. Let's make a release build. All right, it built. A lot of concentration on finding the perfect abstractions in the Rust community as opposed to actually getting things done. That's too bad. People should understand that the perfect abstraction for your job is different than the perfect abstraction for somebody else's job. You know? Never go full C++. That is true. Never go full C++. Using Lisp dialects. Should put a bit of thought into how to prevent this language from being taken over by committees. Oh, I've put some thought into that. I've put some thought into that. Okay. Provide more information in error messages relating to constructors. The constructors more than meets the eye. The constructors. Okay. Well, maybe the next thing to do is this is global variable stuff that we did. That lets us like bake constants. We could make that work on pointers and so forth. why do I still use SVN instead of Git? See, that question, again, I'm going to rant about this. That question implies that Git is the new thing and SVN is the old thing and Git does everything better. Not at all true. Not at all true. If you're putting the word still in that question, then you don't understand Git because you don't understand what it's bad at. It's so crazy. And the funny thing is, you're not the only person who says that. A number of people come on and say, why do you still use blah, blah, blah? And it's like, holy shit, dude. It's not a matter of still. It's a matter of different things do different things. Git was tailor-made for Linux kernel development. Yeah, totally. Like, I'm totally willing to believe that Git is the right tool for what Linus Torvalds needs to do. I doubt that it is the right tool for many of the people who are using it on the web who only use it because it's the trendy thing that Hacker News kids use now or whatever, you know? He could just be new and wonder why you're doing what you're doing. Well, yes, but my point is the word still in there is very disturbing. It's disturbing because it reveals, it's not just like, oh, why do you use this particular source control program instead of this other one? The question, the context carried by the question was, why would you ever be using anything but Git? Because Git does everything. It's the good thing. And that's not true. It's really not true. And so I'm just, in my own grumpy old man way, because I've been asked this question 20 million times, I'm just trying to communicate what the deal is there. That's all. Breathing through your skin is so much better. Yeah, it works for quiet. What's her name? Should work for me. Yeah, Git has a lot of problems. So again, large binary distributions is one problem. Protection from shooting yourself in the foot accidentally is another problem. And understandability of interface is another problem. Git has like the worst user interface of any source control ever, possibly. And that matters when you want like the 3D modelers and texturers on your team to be using the source control program because that's how they interface with things, right? So all of these things matter and cost you money and will put you out of business if you don't do them right. So that is why we use SVN. Yeah, just and in theory are other ones. That's the other question that really drives me nuts is when I'm sitting here programming and somebody says, why don't you just blah, blah, blah? Where blah, blah, blah is something that would take an immense amount of work. And I'm just like, oh my God. Why don't you use some kind of fuzzy file finder instead of always typing out the full file path? When do you mean that I type out the full file path? When? I'm not sure. Do you mean like in the editor or on the command line or what? Yeah. Why don't you just make your own OS? Why don't you just make computers better and fix all the problems? when I navigate files in the editor, you always have something where I type in the file name and it'll find which directory it's in. Yeah, I could set something like that up in Emacs. The thing is, my patience with eList programming ran out approximately 15 years ago. And so I just don't put any more investment into it, which on the one hand, you know, probably costs me a little bit of time once in a while. But on the other hand, my headspace is much clearer because I'm not dealing with eList bullshit of things not totally working once in a while. So I'm fine with it. At some point I'll switch editors. When I switch to a new editor, then I will set up things like that. Not VS Code, no. Probably 4Coder, or I'll just make one. Because I use little enough editor functionality that I could just make an editor. It wouldn't be a big deal. Do I still use the slideshow app? I do use it when I give shows, which is only about once or twice a year. So next time, I'm not currently scheduled to go anywhere and do a talk. Although I know what would be a really good talk to give, so I'm thinking about that. Is it kind of you find not liking to answer questions where it is clear that the person asking has not put much time, effort into thinking about the question before asking? Or is it? That's part of it. Like, here's the thing. When you have a one-to-many relationship with people, like if you have a lot of Twitter followers, or like right now, you know, there's 228 viewers on this channel, which isn't a lot compared to a lot of Twitch channels, but it's enough that I can't relate one-to-one to people, right? Very often. So you definitely notice this kind of interaction where there's, especially for somebody like me who just has an infinite amount of work to do, right? Like, I decided to make my own programming language, and we have to not only make the language, but we have to make games with it in a short enough time frame that our company stays in business, right? So that's a lot of work to do. And it just, you know, somebody comes along. So here's my biggest pet peeve lately. Because these things, so somehow all these kinds of things are like culturally mediated in a way where people end up asking you the same question in the same words. And those words change like every 4 or 5 years, but they think they're being original, but they're just doing a thing. So one thing that people started saying like a year or two ago is like, they just tweet at me or say in a chat or something, I'd love to hear your thoughts about blah, blah, blah subject. And I'm like, good for you, but what, you just threw away one sentence that didn't take you any effort, and you're expecting me to sit here and think deeply and come up with an intelligent response. It's like, I don't have an infinite amount of energy to do that. And if I did, my time would be better invested working on the compiler or something, right? And so the fact that people think that they can do that, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, whatever, they're not thinking about that much about what they're doing, but it comes across as kind of pompous or annoying or something. Like somebody just says, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, you know, Bandersnatch or whatever. And I'm just like, fuck you, dude. This is how I feel about it. Yeah, it takes no effort for somebody to waste your time. And so that's actually one of the things that you start learning is that just because somebody wants your time, you do not owe it to them, right? Just because somebody wants your attention or your efforts, you do not owe it to them. And that's true for everybody in everyday life. But it becomes more and more true as a matter of survival once you start having these kind of like internet connections to many people, you know? You asked that the other day. Okay. I mean, it's something that gets asked many times, so don't feel too bad about it. Because like I said, it's not even exactly an individual thought. Like 5 years ago, nobody ever said, I'd love to hear your thoughts on blah, 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 right? This is a recent phenomenon. For some reason in our culture lately, a lot of people have the idea that that's a thing to do. And it's not really, I mean, if it's topical, right? Like if we're here and we're in chat and we're doing something and there's an on-topic question, or maybe we even do off-topic question times, you know, there's times and places when the door is open for certain topics, but to like just tweet that at somebody is not great unless you show that you put a lot of effort into the question. So if you were on Twitter and you were like, hey, I was doing a bunch of research on this topic and I read this book and that book and I find it interesting, but I don't quite understand or whatever, then it's a more like meritorious question, right? Condescending is the word. I don't know if it's exactly condescending, but it's something. It's something. It's entitled. Yeah, I think it's entitled. And that, again, that might be the millennials generation. You know, they don't think they're entitled, but they totally are. So the thing you hate is when people play Stump the Professor. Like, oh, this person is smart. Let me throw a problem I know they'll trip on. Yeah, I don't get that one that often. Maybe some people do, though. Maybe that happens in school. What file format do we use for models and animations? It's our own custom format. There's nothing really special or especially good about it. People are drawn to creators and think if they can engage a creator that makes them special, or a creator themselves. Yeah, or there's just even like, so I think I'd love to hear your thoughts on whatever topic is just the latest way that people have of interacting with somebody. And I understand wanting to interact with someone, but like people don't have infinite time and energy, right? So I don't know. I don't know what the solution to that is. I don't know. And different people are different, right? So there's some game developers like Rami Ismail or whoever who like to talk to everybody and go to like every game conference and etc. And that's not how I do it, right? Like I'm actually very introverted. When I'm on stream like this, I sort of switch into a different mode than my usual mode, but I of course have the choice of when to go on stream, and then if I decide that I'm feeling more introverted right now, I just stop the stream. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. That's all. Aren't I a millennial? Are you kidding? I am really, what year is millennials? I am really far from being a millennial. Are you kidding me? Millennials is like people who were like 10 years old in the year 2000 or something, or 5 years old, or born in the year 2000. Somewhere in that range. 85 plus, yeah. I am not a millennial. I am squarely in Generation X, as they call it. You're 37 and a millennial. I'm sorry. (1981) plus? I don't think that's right. People born in 81 are not millennials. There's a generation between X, like it's sort of Generation Y is between X and millennial. Maybe that'll all get companded. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, I sort of feel like the oldest millennials are about maybe 24 right now. Wikipedia says millennials are the generation following Generation X. See, this is like this changes all the time. Like even back in the 90s, we thought there were like two other names for the generations after Generation X. So the idea of what these are seems fluid. The first millennials were born in 1978. That's crazy. No, that's way off. Yeah. No, anyone born before 1990 is certainly not a millennial, in my opinion. In my opinion. All right. Yeah, it doesn't matter much. It's just funny how the definitions change over time. It's just funny. Okay. What is the point other than categorizing into us versus them? Well, I mean, there are general patterns. It is the case that there are general patterns, you know. So it's worth noticing those patterns. Alrighty. Make is global variable work on addresses of globals. So let's go to foo. We're going to make a procedure. Proc takes well. Okay. We're going to say we're going to make a foozle again. All right, and then foozle is a foozle. That's a global variable. Okay. Proc foozle. So far, we're not doing anything special. Okay, that is what it says. Now we're going to say baked is bake arguments proc of x equals foozle. And then we're going to call baked. So hopefully that works. It does. So that's the thing that we made work the other day. I mean, it used to work actually as well, but we fixed the type checking and then made it work. Okay, so now we want to make, let's make a pproc that takes a pointer to something and dereferences it. Pproc So this is technically a compile time constant. I do not think this will work because we haven't made it work. Yeah. Argument 1 to this bake is not a constant. So we want to make that work. You have difficulty figuring out what people mean by entitled. I feel like that word has been used to describe every generation after 1940. I don't remember ever getting called entitled when I was a kid. Okay, so that is something that we'll just make work. What was this called again? It's called isGlobalVariable. That's not the right name. Let's call it isBakeableGlobal. Okay, so that's in Typer. All right. So if it's an operator expression, all right, we have to say bool first is false, is bakeable global. Actually, we'll make it true. So if we recurse, we pass false. Okay, if it's an operator expression, oops. So if it's taking the address of something, then, yeah. And it's the first. Okay, is bakeable global interp op arrow right false. Okay. Now the thing is, we're not really done, because, okay, the address of any global variable is bakeable. But not every global variable is bakeable. So the reason that a struct is bakeable is because it's not a value type. So we need some extra rules here. Bool taking address is false, and this is true. Okay. Okay. If taking address okay. Okay. Else, if okay. Function does not take. Does it take the interp? Yeah. Okay. That still works as it should. Hello. Hello is 5. It's an integer. That works. If I just do proc, should not work. That's good. But I can still do a foozle, right? Great. Great. And in fact, we can do a string though. So this is a weird thing. We can't do 5, but we can do a string because a string is a big value. So I think that's it. Is there anything else that you should be able to I mean, let's test some other stuff. Array. Right. Yep, that worked. I think you can't say this probably. But I'm not really that worried about that. That we can do that kind of thing later if we want. Could baked be a constant? Yes. Yes. So if I do this, yeah. Yeah, there's no reason in this case to make it not be a constant. It's just a regular procedure. Can you bake dereferenced pointers? No, but that makes sense because you don't know what the contents of that pointer is going to be. Now that said, if you're running code in your meta program, you kind of would like to be able to bake things with values that are runtime values there, sort of like Dynamic Specialize does. And we don't provide a way to do that yet, but that's going to be a thing that happens a little later, I think. What about baking a block of code as in part of a function? That is waiting on the macro system. That's not part of what we're doing right now. Because it just needs a little bit of different infrastructure. Function pointers. Well, that should work just fine. Right? And then proc factorial. Yeah. Let's do caller f is some procedure f of 6. Parameter x is not found. Oh. F is factorial. Foo. Uh-oh. Oh, right. Print f of 6. Just f of 6 without printing it doesn't do anything. So there we go. It all seems to be working pretty good. Let's make sure we didn't break things. Okay. Well, this is all great. Run tests. Commit it to with it. Am I sometimes hesitating to add some features, but afraid that the language might become like C++? Yes, all the time. I'm trying to prevent the language from becoming like C++. That is a primary concern. Primary concern. That was kind of all I really wanted to get done today. We got so many things done. We could do this one. Implicit cast of constant to type alias of integer type. Didn't work. That was weird. We'll have to look at that. I don't know tonight. Let's look at these couple of things tonight. Unexpected end of input in code block should tell you the start of the block. Because if it doesn't, you don't really know. Any thoughts on Rust? I've said a lot of thoughts on Rust. Somebody could probably link you. I mean, I had that whole hour-long rant about the entity component system presentation. That's probably the most that I've said about Rust. Let me look that one up. Where did I put that on my channel? Videos. Playlists. Rants. I made a separate playlist just for this one. It's right there in the chat. That is certainly not the entirety of my thoughts on Rust, but it's what I think about. I think the Rust community cares. It's become clear. So originally, when they cared a lot about safety, it was because they care about correctness, and safety is an important part of correctness, like security and stuff. Now, I don't think they care about correctness at all. They just care about safety, because when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So, I mean, I think they would say they care about correctness, but then they just keep saying safety, safety. Like, I don't know, man. It's possible to call from C? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, I don't think Rust is BS exactly. I mean, I don't know where it's going now. Maybe they're going in a modern C++ direction now, which would be sad, but the idea of a language that ensures memory safety is a good idea. Well, one that ensures memory safety without being garbage collected, right, through strong type checking. That's a good idea. That's legit. What's not legit is to pretend that it's doing things for you that it's not doing. So, yeah. How about D? D is too much like C++ for my tastes. And I mean, it's way better in a lot of ways, but they also make some assumptions about memory management and stuff. And, you know, it's just made for object style programming, which I don't believe is right. Nim is also garbage collected, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Let's look at this. Unexpected end of input in code block. So I'm going to go if true, x colon equals 7. If x is greater than 5, y equals 3, print x whatever, y whatever, x, y. And we're going to conveniently forget to close our second brace. And what that's going to mean is we're going to get an end of input on main probably. Yeah. The problem is that the location we give is the end of the file, line 49, which doesn't help anybody. Because of course, if you got an unexpected end of input, it's at the end of the file. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? In code block. Well, I think we just say result. I don't know why. Like, that seems easy. Oh, no, you know what? Let's go back. Did I do that here? Let's do this. And we'll say result here is the start of the block that's still open. Okay. Now I think I have to do something to force it to. Oh no. Short. How do we do short? What was it called again? Short version. Show error context. Blah. I don't know if I want to do that. Report no label. It's still open. Colon. Show error context. Result. Nothing true. So that'll only print one line. What? Oh. Ta-dum. Okay. We kind of could use a new line. But this is good because it tells you, okay, whatever my missing close brace is between here and there. Okay, great. Do I write tests for compiler warnings and errors? Not yet. We have a couple for warnings, but there's nothing that really checks that the warnings are correct. We will do that later. Right now, all our tests are making sure that things actually work. Okay. Better error message on unexpected end of input. I think that's everything I want to do tonight. Let's see.
Hey, you got this point.
Lana raided us last night. Let's raid her back. That'll be fun. I hope she's not finishing. Thanks, everyone, for coming by. I'm going to nap. How smart is your if you have properly constructed function after main, but forgot the closing paren of main? No, it'll tell you main in that case. Thanks, everyone, for coming by. I think Lana's doing a lock-picking mini game, so that'll be fun if she's still working on that. And stream not long enough. It was 2 hours. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Oh, Nim has optional soft real-time GC. Yeah. All right. We'll do some more streaming over the course of the week. See you later. And I'm going to try not to leave my stream on all night. We'll see if I can manage that. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope I wasn't too grumpy about Git and the like.